Well, well, well. How fascinating it was listening to all that was said here today. It seemed as if you were all honestly trying to figure out who the murderer was. Incredibly, even the murderer pretended to have no idea. I suppose you must still be wondering which of you did it. Firstly, let me clarify one very important fact. Although it's quite hard to pinpoint exactly when the murder was committed, one thing is clear. It must have happened after the guards left for their little drinking binge. So, what do you think will happen now? Will I accuse my brother, Rennis, of trying to steal my throne, one murder at a time? Or perhaps Daenerys Margarita did it. Thanks to the Bottom Rebellion, she had the most reason to do it, after having lived so long in exile with no power. There does seem to be a pattern of hate towards my family. Duljoy, for example, is an islander with a long history of wanting to fight against me. And let's not forget Marjorie Quarrel, our old enemy and recent ally, who almost became queen. Sir Preston Frobisher may have planned to get kicked out of the King's Guard, but he might also resent how he was treated by the prince. The ability that son of mine had at making enemies is quite amazing. And still we are not done. Apparently Boffrey's blood is very precious. Maybe the priestess Melara has it stored somewhere to be used later in some strange spell. Even my friend, Lord Whispers, might have concluded the prince was simply a risk to the kingdom and should be removed like an infected foot. Sir Roland has a similar reason. Perhaps he did it out of the simple frustration that nobody listens to his order anymore. And yet, here a prime example that he is not lying. The brutal Ygritte, given the chance, would have my head in a trice and would probably then become the new leader of the barbarian peoples. So many to choose from, but as the pilgrims say, there can only be one. Perhaps you've forgotten some of the details I've just mentioned. I had too, but luckily I had a servant to write them down for me. I'll tell you what. I need a quick visit to the privy. That will give you a little more time to think about who killed my son. When I get back, we shall see if any of you have guessed correctly.